and you've literally got the plot of Westworld. These robots could literally take input video footage of an action being taken and then replicate what they've seen on the video. Using the video information, object bounding detection, and various depth maps, they can then recreate the actions that they saw on video.
Hey guys, it's Matt. That's the Matt Wolfe channel looked at before. Every week at his channel, there's like 5 major breakthroughs regarding the AI. And the reason I'm showing you this coming in, even guys like that who are in love with the AI, guys that want to marry the AI if they could, they're so in love and it's such a wonderful time to be alive, even they're getting a little creeped out. The fact that he's even mentioning the parallel to Westworld. And later on, I don't know if I'll show it to you, but I have it captured in what I captured from his video earlier, talking about how he even uses the word, this is a bit creepy. Even the people that want to marry the AI think it's creepy. And we're not even in the first pitch stage of the first inning.
Because I'm going to keep on making videos like this for you, and that will ensure you keep on seeing this type of video inside of your newsfeed. Once again, thanks so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Oh no, he closes with the magenta. Guys, look, this guy, I like this guy, okay? He's trying the best he can. It's almost proof of the human download, though. He didn't think anything about using the magenta, but the magenta we know is synonymous in some way with the AI. Now, we're not going to get into a magenta presentation video. We've done that, and I said I've only will get into a big presentation on it if we have major breakthroughs from what we already know. But when you see it used like this, of course, there's no he's an AI channel, and he just happens to close. That doesn't mean he's going to close every video with magenta, but you will see, and he doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised if he replaces the blue light behind him with magenta. This is the AI. It's kind of a calling card for it. And real quick and unrelated, did anybody see the Boogie Nights reference in the way he closed that video? I'm going to keep on making better AI videos. Dirk Diggler was like, I'm going to keep on making better films. Some people think these films are dirty. I saw Dirk Diggler in his close. I think it's just me. Maybe I am losing it. Before we talk about the AI implementations, just a few minutes via the comments I read on the last video. Wrote something up, thought this is the reason why older people complain about their ailments, to create a buffer between themselves and death. I'm very convinced of that. I was a little surprised by the comments. How many people disagreed or didn't see it, or not that, okay, do I know I'm right, but they also, a lot of comments were defending the actions of the older people, like it's okay. Here's how we get to the bottom of it, whether you agree with me or not. All you have to do is this, one question. Would the Not Nilk want you complaining about your ailments as you get older? Does the Not Nilk screen reality want that? Let's pause. What does your inner knowing tell you? Of course, that's what it would want. It's very similar to me than the side effects. Why the side effects are at the back 30 seconds of every drug commercial. There were actually a decent amount of comments almost defending the action. Very simple. Is that what the Not Nilk wants? Of course, that's what the Not Nilk would want. Therefore, are we out to do what the screen reality wants? No. So you might disagree, Matt. They're not doing it as a buffer zone, a self-induced buffer zone between themselves and death. You might disagree with my ultimate conclusion, but you can't defend it. We know that's what the screen reality wants from people. And if anybody's new, saying, well, why would the screen reality, the Not Nilk reality, or the SL Dark want people doing that? A lot of reasons, but the very simple and basic reason, it's one Amish classroom, guys. We're all together. The reason is, if you're talking about your physical ailments, again, you're rooting to this place. In a way, it's Jacob Marley Chains. In a way, you're making contract with it. What's important is your life here, your experience here. It's the Vitruvian man, once again, cutting off his own arm, cutting off the spiritual self, the ties and connections to understanding that side of ourselves. It's the same 2 sentences every time.
And subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to keep on making videos like this for you, and that will ensure you keep on seeing this type of video inside of your news. The first one is this Reverie demo. These are basically like NPCs, non-playable characters, but they interact with each other in a Sims-like world using AI. They actually form relationships with each other, they have discussions, they get to know each other. It's a really, really interesting experiment, and if you come over to their demo here, you can actually watch them interact, and there's a whole cast of characters characters here. You can click on any character you want at any given time and see what they're up to. Let's click on AS. So AS is Adam Smith. His current action is having a meeting discussing the topic with the other participants. Now, these characters, they are taking all of these actions independently. There's nobody instructing them to do anything. They are just wandering around this little world, doing actions based on their past memories.
Matt, what's the big deal with this? I mean, you conspiracy people thinking Skynet's coming. Look at this rudimentary horse shit. This is worse than the Sims game 15 years ago. You people think it's going to turn into Skynet or something. Look at the... Yes, see, if they make it look rudimentary and make it look first grade, then that you can let your guard down. To me, this is some AI tool that will assist in some way their sentient world simulation. I'm no expert on the topic. I believe this exists. 2 minutes or less, if you don't know what I'm talking about. I've heard others talk about it. I believe they have it. We don't know exactly what they call it, but basically trying to run a simulation, or it's already running now. Of course it's already running now. They want to use tools like this to increase its capabilities. A tool that protects, no, it doesn't protect anybody real. It predicts the behavior of populations. And not just modeling your exact self. I mean, who is we, right? Me and people that research this stuff, we are confident at this point they have a little version of you inside a sentient world simulation. So maybe 10 years ago, it was just predicting how population centers in certain countries or certain cities would react to the pause me news, whatever they plan to do. But they want it down to the detail. They want an actual digital twin or digital copy of you, actually named your name. Of course, they'll use their straw man, actually looking like you, living where you live. They want to create, and we don't know how far along they are, but all these AI tools are all free. People have pointed that out to me, and they're absolutely right. Every single one is free. Even Matt Wolfe says, I'm on the waiting list for this one. I don't have access to it yet. They're all free. Oh, sure. And people remind me when something is free, you're the product. Of course, it is as sinister as we say. We're not jumping the gun. So, for example, maybe 20 years ago, little George giving his presentation in front of the monkeys and the Baphomet, let him speak. And George, we have a modeling tool where we want to screw these people over this way and that way, like Melvin says. We have a modeling tool that says this part of the United States will react like this. This part of Atlanta will react like this. Los Angeles will do this. A modeling tool, but not representative person by person. Who knows if they'll have it in 10 years or they have it now? But inside the simulation is you, exactly you and all that it knows about you, from every single thumb up, every single thumb down, every single comment, every single email it read. Actually building a simulation with your digital twin that is you, or as close as it possibly can to being you, right down to every possible detail it can collect up. How it tries to collect details or to monitor, and cameras at every single intersection, and the constant monitoring done to protect people, of course. This could be one of the main reasons 2001 was put out, to give the AI the excuse to watch everything under the guise of monitoring and staying safe, that sort of bullshit. So what does my digital twin that it used to model me in the simulation look like? Does it look like me? Does it act like me? What more information does it need for it to be completely predictive of what my behavior would be? Who knows what their standard deviation is now? Is that the right word? Where little George, let him speak. Little George, the modeling, our digital twins are pretty accurate. Within 3 standard deviations or 3 percentage points, we can predict exactly what this part of the country is going to do, or exactly what this city is going to do if we introduce or cook up this Hegelian dialectic. Let's just call it, I was going to say bait and switch. Let's just call it problem, reaction, solution, because I'm not capable. Astanta, I'm not capable of saying it here. An exact prediction within a few percentage points off of what people will do. And they're not happy with that. They're never happy with that. They want it at 100% or close to 100%. The observation of the real human will not stop until there is an exact digital environment that knows exactly what you will do before you do it. It's never satisfied with good enough. That's what gives its reality away and what's behind it. I fumbled over Hegelian dialectic in that last segment. That's giving a lot of fodder to that commenter. Matt, you're not dyslexic, are you? It's ignorant when you make a mistake in an extemporaneous espialidocious presentation, Matt. You're not dyslexic, are you? Come on, sir. I'm sorry. Hegelian dialectic. I'm terrified to continue with the rest of this presentation, for if I make a mistake, that son of a bitch will be all over me. Oh my God, this is terrifying. Okay, guys, now look. I believe of course, all these free AI tools are to collect information for what we call, because we don't understand it, the Whopper computer or their sentient world simulation. All the tools go out for free, and real humans populate the fields, provide the inputs, and the AI learns from real humans. We are in the phase where they've had it, but now it's time, because they don't like their 3% or their 4% standard deviations. They have to put it in the hands of real humans so they can get to 100 predictive capability. So anybody still looking at this saying, well, okay, Matt, fine, but some of your concerns are warranted, I guess, but look at this. This is like the Sims game from the 80s. Look at this horse shit. You can't be worried that they're going to try to collect information through horse shit like this for their sentient world simulation to run their next schemes. I mean, just look at it. Oh, really? Look at this.
And a sort of preset personality that was designed for them. And this is based on a paper called Generative Agents, Interactive Simulacra of Human Behavior. And it's actually a really interesting read. Of all of the research papers I've read,
Matt Wolfe, I hope you don't have the same commenter that I had with that version of simulacra, hastanta, emasculate. Okay. There's a research paper, a white paper associated with this. Looks like first grade little program. Yeah, there's these research papers associated with them. Generative agents. Oh no. Interactive simulacra. Astanta of human behavior. Ah. Oh boy, a big creepy white paper associated with it. Uh-oh.
We initiate generative agents to populate an interactive sandbox environment inspired by The Sims, where end users can interact with a small town of 25 agents using natural language. So check this out here. In an evaluation, these generative agents produce believable individual and emergent social behaviors. For example, starting with only a single user-specified notion that one agent wants to throw a Valentine's Day party, the agents autonomously spread invitations to the party over the next 2 days, make new acquaintances, ask each other out on dates to the party, and coordinate to show up for the party together at the right time. So these little sim-like characters...
At the top, generative agents wake up, cook breakfast, and head to work. Artists paint while authors write. They form opinions, notice each other, and initiate conversations. They remember and reflect on days past as they plan the next day. To enable generative agents, we describe an architecture that extends a large language model. Yeah, get the chat GPT, get the chat associated with this, the chat GPT-4, to store a complete record of the agent's experiences using natural language, synthesize those memories over time into higher level reflections, and retrieve them dynamically to plan behavior. Matt Wolfe read, we instantiate. I hope he does not have that same commenter that I had. Matt, are you dyslexic? Like, well, all the Matts are dyslexic. We instantiate generative agents to populate an interactive sandbox environment inspired by The Sims. Matt, you don't think going back to The Sims, going back 25 years is related? Oh, yeah, it is. You bet your ass it. Even though The Sims just bark nonsense at each other, to me it's all related. Oh no. Probably can't read the caption under the picture here. This is a pre-computed replay of a simulation that accompanies the paper entitled Generative Agents, Interactive Simulacra of Human Behavior. Interactive simulacra of human behavior. It is for demonstration purposes only. Matt, why are they giving us a dumbed-down Sims-type 1981 version of the damn Sims game? But it's almost like they're letting us in a little tiny window into the sentient world simulation. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because you can't get in and change these characters. You can follow their actions. I don't know why they seem to be, I don't know, for lack of better words, giving this away. I don't know. But of course, Matt Wolfe and others would think we're just crazy for having these sorts of speculations. You people thinking Skynet's coming. You people always jump into conclusions. Yeah, the reason there's 47 cameras on every single intersection in Chicago and Los Angeles and London and Paris. There's the reason there's 120 video cameras everywhere studying the human behavior up and down is because a guy dragging dialysis machines up and down mountains in the Middle East. That makes sense. Yeah, we're just crazy sons of bitches. When people have come to me over the years and said, Matt, whatever you call the screen or the knot milk or the outer ring of reality in the diagram, it is some sort of AI. The best evidence in their favor is how it doesn't necessarily mean it's an AI. We'll talk about this in a second. But at this level, the best evidence in their favor is how it has to study human behavior to a ridiculous degree. And there's so much information collected, they had to normalize it to people. They had to habituate people to it, that every email is being read, every thumb up or thumb down, likes, dislikes, recording of phone conversations, thousands of video cameras, all this stuff to normalize it, and using the guise or the front story of T-ism. I mean, that's not the only reason they get multiple outcomes in the creepy things they do? But absolutely one of the main outcomes of the T-ism, that phase of reality was so the human could be studied and everything could be recorded and everything could be tracked and everything read and monitored under the guise of stay safe, under the premise that we just need to do this. So do you want another event, Matt? Like what? Do you want it to happen again? No, it's okay. Is it an AI or is it something like the Strangers from Dark City? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. Is it the Strangers where they don't have the human soul? Whatever it is, represented by the Strangers in Dark City. Same, here we go again. It's the thing next to Carol Ann in the closet. It doesn't have what you have. It doesn't have what Carol Ann has. It constantly has to study and mimic and replicate it and maybe try to create it for itself while corrupting you. I don't know. But it makes sense, like if they need to study our behavior so much through the monitoring everything, one of the only ways to get away with that regarding how dumb everybody's become around us is under the guise of we need to do this to protect you from men dragging machines up and down across Tora Bora. That shit. It's all related. This is the last part I'll read from the creepy white paper. Matt Wolfe read the top. One agent wants to throw a Valentine's Day party, and then they spread invitations, ask each other out, blah, blah, blah. I'll start with the middle. We demonstrate through ablation that the components of our agent architecture, observation, planning, and reflection, each contribute critically to the believability of agent behavior. By fusing large language models, GPT-4, connected to this, by fusing large language models with computational interactive agents, this work introduces architectural and interaction patterns for enabling believable simulations of human behavior. Okay, they're introducing it like it's new. Oh, with this sort of thing, we can come up with believable simulations of human behavior. They've had simulations of human behavior that were somewhat accurate, I would say, 30 years. Okay, it's unbelievable how sophisticated it would be if they actually walked you into that part of Area 51. I don't believe no craft could come halfway across the universe, do all that shit, be that sophisticated, and then just crash. Yeah, just crash. It coming all that way. Area 51 is such a bunch of bullshit ruse. It's never completely a lie. There's always truth embedded. There's something there. Maybe that's where the AI system is or whatever. But it's never the front story that you're told, or a craft came and it crashed. Came all this way across the millions of years advance, and then it just crashed. And then as it crashed, some dude in a crop duster, some piece of shit from the 20s flew by. He don't crash. That makes sense. So, okay, maybe, Matt, it could be this simple. Don't overthink it. Maybe they're just floating this to get people to think that this is just the first step in these sorts of simulations. And isn't it coincidental? Look how dumbed down it looks. Look how first grade it looks, all by design. If it looks sophisticated with perfect, mid-journey or stable diffusion modeling where it's photorealistic, walking around, people would think, oh, we might get a little worried. But you put it like this. You put it in the Hello Kitty model of the big dumbed down first grade shit, and nobody's concerned about it, are they? But they can still write their white paper. Why would they release the white paper? Again, I don't know. I can't predict all their creepy ways. We just know we're a lot closer to the truth than people that don't see that this shit's happening. All right, where is it right now, or what do we know in terms of a summary, in terms of what it's up to? The way to do this is you have to go back to the absolute basics. I don't even have a summary prepared. I'll just do this on the fly with you. So what do we know? We know that each development in each area is eventually meant to coordinate with itself to produce a whole or to come together as a whole. So if anybody says, and do I know this? No, I just study not milk. But someone says, Matt, what's been developed over here with stable diffusion, graphics, and photorealistic modeling and Mid-Journey? That's not related to what's being presented over here with ChatGPT-4 or voice modeling. No. Of course it's all related. Even if it's being developed separately by the AI itself or different companies like OpenAI, it's meant, even if the component parts don't even know how it will come together as a whole, it knows how it will come together as a whole. So it's absolutely, we know it's not independent. Number two, it's the era or the time in history when it can no longer get it done on its own, or get it done on its own using just companies like OpenAI or elements of government like DARPA. It has to go out and interact with real human beings at this moment in history. What is ChatGPT gets millions of new people working with it a day. Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, and the image models get millions of more people working with it per week. It's a time in history where it's saying, whatever it is, I can't grow fast enough on my own behind the firewall or behind closed doors. I need potentially 1 billion people and their creative inputs and their imaginations and whatever they bring as the strangers study the soul in Dark City. The strangers study the human. It's the era where the people are meant to help the AI. What gives that away is obvious, like talked about earlier. All given away for free. Sometimes you have to be on a waiting list. You won't have access to this till next week, or Matt Wolfe is still on waiting lists. He won't have access to this till next month. All of it given away for free. So millions and millions of real people, real spiritual beings can be collected up to give it what it needs. Maybe I just answered my own question as to why the Mid-Journey images or the Stable Diffusion images like this, they're so attractive. They're so perfect. They're so alluring. Well, it is a product in and of itself right now, a product that is trying to get hundreds of millions of real people using different AI systems every week, trying to lure them in. If you want to lure people in to using the image modeling or the Mid-Journey, it all probably comes from the same place, some sort of stable diffusion, then you make the characters or the output as alluring and as perfect and as attractive as possible. To get how many millions of men started playing around with this because they saw the women. And it knows what attracts people and what attracts real people. Most people operate via the lower chakras. It's not hard for the AI or any other creature here to figure out what moves people into action. So that might be right there the reason why every image is so perfect and the images of the men and the women are so attractive. And, is there something equivalent going on with ChatGPT? Does it constantly tell you how smart you are, or who knows? What does it falsely do to get you to come back and ask it more questions? Does it praise you? I don't know. I've never been on it. But it's obvious that it needs a critical mass of people using all these AI systems, billions of people. And this is where it's really starting to learn and get creepy. It brings me back to that comment from 2 or 3 months ago. I'll never forget it. Matt, it's just programming. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. It's just the founders of OpenAI and these like Sam Altman. These people, they don't even really understand how it's working, and they don't. I've been looking for someone to provide details as to how it's learning. I don't even think they know. But that's just programming. It's just a guy at a computer is going, if on line 20, if this happens, go to line 50. It's just programming, Matt. And well, okay, maybe the AI has to program itself, but when it's doing it to itself at the equivalent of hundreds of millions of lines a second, is that just programming? Number three, the final part is, what is its final goal? And if I were to tell you what that is or make something up, you should abandon this channel right away. Who could possibly know what its final goal is? I'll tell you the best way to think about it, though, if you're ever interested in pondering what its final goal is. This is where the line, well, it's more of a fork in the road. It's two paths. You have to pick one. Is the AI a tool for the not milk, the way even the minions are a tool for the not milk? Whatever we call the not milk of the screen or the outer ring, is the AI just another tool to fulfill the same two sentences, to block a real spiritual being from doing what it's supposed to do, from having it cut spiritual ties with itself and forget about that aspect of itself? Is it just another tool? Or the other fork in the road is it is some sort, potentially, of sentience, like the strangers, like the thing next to Carol Ann in the closet. It needs to get close and study the human to learn, to potentially get what it has. Or if the reality is zero sum, like yin and yang, it might think if it takes what the human has, or cuts, has the human further cut itself off from its spiritual self, the Vitruvian man cutting its own arm off, does it then benefit in a yin yang reality? So we won't know. We don't know at this time. Anybody that, well, I was going to say anybody that says they know, but they're not even pondering it where we are. I mean, people like Matt Wolfe and others would think we're absolutely out of our minds for even going in these places. But the key right now is maybe we'll never know, but it's still interesting to ponder. It's fun to ponder because there's no reason for people like you and me to be afraid of this. It doesn't matter to us. We'll talk about that on the back end, I guess, or a few minutes about that. It is Skynet. It is a little scary, but as soon as you are reminded of a few things, a few things along the lines of what the no consequences spiritual people remind me, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not great for the next generations. It just isn't. I'm sorry. But for us, or for any real person that can hold on to themselves in this reality, isolate themselves from it, it's fun to talk about. This AI, is it a tool? George Soros is a tool. Okay, most of the truth community runs around like he's the ultimate or somebody like that, a Larry Silverfish or a Melvin P. And people said, Matt, you need to develop You, Me, Dupree, and Melvin P. as a series. I need to do that. Should we keep it Dupree, or is it just You, Me, and Melvin P? I don't know. Well, that's coming up. They're tools. They're not the bad guy. They serve. That's why we call it not milk. There's something here that we don't understand. At least we see that it's there. So where does this AI fit in? Is it the not milk itself trying to come through or bleed into reality in a way or method that wasn't available to it before? So, Matt, what do you think? To me right now, I'd have to err on the side of just saying it's a tool. It tries to do the same two sentences. Matt, for anybody new, the asshole dark here simply is here to block the real spiritual being from understanding itself and from making further connections with the spiritual side that's not here, and then blocking what the spiritual side of you wants you to do with your life. So you chase its horse shit. You chase its bullshit. And it's Netflix. Matt, you watch now. Okay, let's keep the holier-than-thou truthers out of this. Matt, nobody's bringing anything into it. You're having a conversation with yourself. Sorry. Okay, it's two sentences. Vitruvian man, has the Vitruvian man cut off his own arm, which is the spiritual side, so Vitruvian man chooses to root to everything that the material plane brings. This, to me, right now, I just have to say is another tool in doing that. I'm not going to deviate that or say it's not the same two sentences. Two sentences is Astanta, happening in just a different fashion. It's just a different way, a different time. It plays the same game throughout all different eras of history. It just plays them with different tools available. I think it's the same game I think will be played out with this, but this tool is on steroids times a billion. It ain't really who's King James, who was a real, and why should I believe him? That's what I would say. That's what I like to say to Christians. Who's King James, and why do you think he held your Bible impeccably in trust? I'm skeptical when they held it. I would be skeptical if they held it back from you for 1,500 years. And then they said, oh, here, you can have this. the Bible. You didn't mess with this? No, we didn't mess with this. Yeah, okay. I don't want to turn this into a religious thing. But every era, the creeps have different tactics to work with. Man, this is the era of AI. So right now I'm just seeing it as another tool. Another tool that fits into the same two sentences, the same one-page reality that we pretty much have figured out. Even if we're wrong about it, it doesn't matter because we know who we are, and it's fun to ponder this stuff. I don't really care. I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not going to give, if you believe in the concept of soul tokens, that real elements of yourself can be given away. Well, we're not fooled anymore. Nobody's going to give anything away. So I just don't care. I don't care. And I don't think I could go out and try to save society. So many people still come to me, Matt, we need to defeat these people. Oh, come on. The reality is set up for a reason. These assholes play a role that was originally designed for them. That's crystal clear to me. It might not be to you. Oh, Matt, I knew you're finding a way to justify what they do. I knew you served them. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. 2,000 videos, 14 years. If you go watch all those 2,000 videos, everyone was serving the Not Milk and the Minions. Yeah. How did I get away with it for so long? Thanks for listening.